So this is probably pertinent to yourself, Alan, then. So once you've sort of found those, one or two channels that work, then how would you suggest somebody scales output, given they probably can't hire full-time employees?
Yeah, look, I'm a great believer in the kind of freelance market, right? And I am one myself, right? So I'm a consultant to a number of different clients. And I think that, there are a huge number now of, talented people that are available on the freelance market. The challenge is probably finding them, right? So Upwork is probably not the best place for some of these specialists. They tend to be word of mouth, right? They tend to be not on these Upwork channels. Again, if you're budget constrained, Upwork will be fine, but often it's sort of word of mouth, or there is an ecosystem in places like Dublin, London, Berlin, where there are, I've got an ecosystem, right? A B2B SaaS marketing ecosystem whereby I know if I need a Google Ads guy, I've got my go-to guy. If I need a visual identity or brand refresh, I know I've got my kind of go-to person for that. So messaging, right? There's this phenomenal messaging person, right, who helps with B2B SaaS messaging, who's based in New Zealand, right? My UI UX guy that I use is based in Thailand. So there is a kind of an emerging ecosystem of freelancers that are very specialist. And look, it's very, very cost effective because you're not bringing them onto the books as a full-time employee. The other thing is there's a number of kind of marketplaces emerging as well, right, which are gaining traction and recognition, and sort of, again, they're not the Upwork model, but they're more dedicated for B2B SaaS. So searching on those again, represent areas that you can find talent. So I think it's a great way to grow your business, particularly around speciality areas like even Google Ads, as an example. So paid advertising is often one of the ways you're going to spike your lead velocity, and Google Ads is a complete beast. So it's just very complicated, and when you look at things like attribution and you look to try and involve your model, you do need speciality resource. So that would be my recommendation, suggestion, trying to kind of tap into your B2B SaaS ecosystem. And there are things like SaaS Stock, which is a huge community in the UK and Ireland and Europe, in fact, that again, is worth plugging into, and sort of people that are in the freelance community tend to kind of migrate towards communities like that.
Makes sense, because I think you can get bogged down a little bit too much if you don't have that kind of support, really. Even just writing a long blog post, it takes longer than you think.
Absolutely, but I think you've got some area of interest in this, right?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I mean, we've sort of started very early days a platform and essentially a marketplace which is dedicated to B2B tech marketeers. So and that's helping companies either hire full-time employees or freelancers. But those people have got experience of kind of working in this space, because I see it more often than not. You've got these sort of emerging businesses, early stage businesses that kind of need everything, but they can't afford to bring in a whole team straight off the bat. So I mean, you touched on it in terms of funding. They're not raising 100 million off the bat. So it's very hard to actually build that team from the get go. So using freelancers, I think, is a great way to be able to scale that kind of stuff. Early days for us.
Yeah, and look, an exciting space to be in, because I think that model is going to just grow and grow, right? Because things like graphic design or collateral, like you need stuff like that, but you don't need someone full time that sort of this goes back to the kind of jack of all trades, because actually what they need, or Jill of all trades, right? What they need to be able to do is probably coordinate some of this, right? So because what you get is you get a kind of coordination challenge, but you also get the challenge of kind of how do you pick the best ones, right? So I think marketplaces like you're putting together, which hopefully will have some ranking or rating system or one, an ability to kind of triage the best is definitely kind of very important.
Well, if you know of any VCs, send them my way.